Join Mark Lewis' interview with Brian Delippin from Kill Jaden. Kill Jaden is a rock metal band out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Real rock and roll news. From the legends of rock, you found rockonamerica.live. We're bringing rock and roll to America and beyond. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Brace for impact as Mark Lewis and R.O.A. sit down with Brian Delippin, the powerhouse behind Kill Jaden, the rock metal sensation from Las Vegas. They've shared the stage with titans like Godsmack, Hellyeah, Ratt, Leatherwolf, Louisiana Guns, delivering all original, head-banging anthems. Tune in for an exclusive, unfiltered glimpse into their world. Remember, this is where the magic happens.
This is Mark with Rock for American, and we're interviewing Brian Delippen from the band Kill Jaden, and this guy goes way back on some stuff. We have some very, very interesting stories. He's from a Las Vegas band called Kill Jaden, and they are one of the best Las Vegas bands here. I'm not just saying that. There's a lot of bands here, and they're one of the upper echelon of the bands in Vegas. How are you doing, Brian?
Hey, doing good.
So let's start from the beginning. When I do the interview, I like to ask this question. Who are your musical influences, and who influenced you to be a singer and play the guitar, and what or who influenced you to come to the realization that, hey, that's what I want to do. I want to be a musician. I want to be a singer and a guitar player.
Well, the singer-guitar player part...
Well, either one of them, singer and the guitar player. Who influenced you on both of those?
Well, like I was saying, the combination came later on, but originally it had to have been bands like Kiss, Angel,
okay,
which I was like 7 years old, and I was at the library, and I was looking through, albums and
right.
to check out, and there was Angel, and there was this pretty motherfucker, Hunky Meadows, on guitar, who had just had the most awesome-looking hair. They all looked really cool. Of course, everything was airbrushed, I'm sure, but got into the music. It was very operatic, kind of like a Queen, and then the Kiss albums, of course. That was when I was in third grade, and that just blew my freaking mind. Bands, guys that can put all this crazy makeup on and these crazy outfits and get up there and play, and not just play, but write these really great songs. So I'd have to say those were my first influences. Later on, I wanted to sing when I heard Ratt Halford, doing Breaking the Law, Point of Entry, that sort of stuff. That was really where I wanted to sing. I just didn't have the vocal range capability, without vocal lessons. So, but my first passion was guitar at age of 13, and I persistently played it, for 2 years, 3 years straight, day in, day out. One of my all-time idols, who I've met here in Las Vegas, who's been to several Kill Jaden shows, is Ron Kill. Me and my girlfriend used to go follow him all throughout Southern California to catch his shows, because I loved Steeler, his first band with Ingrid Malmsteen, Rob Lyons, and Rick Fox on bass. And then, of course, by the time I found that album, he was already in the Kill band with Brian J. and Mark Ferrari and whatnot. So he influenced me a lot at the time, too. That was through my teenage years.
Well, those are a little bit different styles, too, so they kind of all mesh together with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're talking about, 15 years time,
right,
from when I was in third grade to when I was in, 17, 18.
Right.
Yeah, so.
So, what was your, and you grew up in Southern California?
Yeah, about West Covina, about 25, 30 minutes from downtown Hollywood. So I was very fortunate in that fact, that I didn't have to, travel cross country to get to where the scene was.
Right.
It was right in my backyard.
So what was it? What was the first band that you kind of remember? Either your very first band, or before you did Kill Jaden? And we're going to talk about some of the stuff you did out in California too. But what was the first band, or one of the very first bands that you had that was like really memorable, that you really loved, you had some good memories of?
That I was in?
That you were in, that you put together?
I would say Bordello.
Okay.
Which was kind of a Motley Crue, Kiss, oriented theatrical band. We had, pyros that we made our own with gunpowder and flash pods that would, shoot up in little fireballs and concussions and I got one quick little story though. My singer mid-set had to go refill the concussion bombs and he really wanted to get everybody's attention on the second round at the end of the show, and he put a little bit too much gunpowder in it. So when the explosions went off, it ripped all of our speakers to shreds.
Oh, jeez.
And I had a Mesa Boogie stack with, a $3,500 system, and it looked like somebody took each one of those speakers with a razor blade just all the way around it. My bass players' speakers were all just shredded to all hell too.
Yeah, I'm sure it got everybody's attention at all.
It did, man.
And the sweet for the night, I take it.
That was the last song, so all you heard was cymbals at the end.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't the beginning of the show. Otherwise, there would be no show.
Yeah.
We've had burns and concussions during those years of all the theatrics.
You guys weren't just musicians; you were daredevils.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
So, about what time did Bordello come? That just approximately what kind of year? What year was that approximately?
Well, it was exactly April of 2000. April of 1987.
Okay, so you were out there in the heyday of all the metal, then.
Yeah, that's right when that's right when the Hollywood scene was just blowing up.
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm from Detroit. Everybody from the Midwest and out east as well had one goal in mind. If you played hard rock, heavy metal, you had to go to LA.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the days too when bands used to actually tour. Bands didn't have girlfriends. They hit the road. Like when I moved to Florida a few years, I was down there for about 4 years. Go out to see the bands, and they have girlfriends. They live at home. They don't really tour out of the area. And I go, okay, this is different because I remember every band at that time frame. I talked to these guys, and this one band I can't remember the name of, and I said, how do you guys survive? You travel all over the world, so how do you do laundry and eat all this stuff? And I said, we got girlfriends in every town. Somebody does laundry, somebody's buying food, somebody's cutting us gas money, and these guys are all doing the circuit, trying to go bigger and bigger to make it out to LA. That was the goal.
Oh, wow.
You were out there, so you're fortunate.
Yeah, I was right down. This is my backyard, and it was a nonstop party, man. You didn't,
Do you want to tell a couple stories about that? What that was like there, so people who really kind of remember they weren't there, they kind of grew up like I did in the Midwest. They weren't there for that, or people that are maybe a little younger that are listening to this. Describe what that was really like being out there back then.
Mardi Gras. Everybody's walking into one club. Rock club, watching bands, stepping out, walking down the street, stepping into another one. Meanwhile, there's just an usher of people going in all different directions, all kinds of bands handing out flyers, all kinds of, hot, sexy girls out there trying to hook up with these, rockers, these metal dudes, and, it was I think it was pre-AIDS, so
everybody was just that was when you could still get a phone number.
There was a lot of occupied alleys.
Yeah. Well, you were out there. You remember Bish out there?
Oh yeah.
So I've talked to Betsy. Betsy's a really nice lady.
Oh wow.
And so, who were some of the other bands that you remember being out there to kind of set the stage? Because people were going, holy crap.
Well, right when
I remember, but I think people would rather hear from you.
When I stepped into the scene, it was it was Poison, and then you had bands like Pretty Boy Floyd opening for Poison, and then Poison would get signed, and then Pretty Boy Floyd was the band. So a band called Tricks would start opening up for Pretty Boy Floyd, and then Pretty Boy Floyd got signed and took off, and then Tricks stepped up into their place, and then my band Bordello started opening up for tricks, and then and
who else was there? Vixen was out there.
Vixen, Jaded Lady,
Skid Row was hitting big. They came out of
Skid Row, LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, Guns N' Roses.
Femme Fatale was out there.
Femme Fatale too, yeah.
Yeah, and that was just after
Ricky Gypsy.
That was just after Guns N' Roses become Guns N' Roses, primarily for Rose.
Right, exactly.
And Wasp had gotten signed a couple of years before that.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if you listen to Blackie Lawless's history, I mean, that dude was up and running in the 70s. So
yeah.
The dude's like, I think, I don't know, in his 60s.
No, not that old, but
I'm pretty sure he is. But for whatever age he is, it looks good.
Yeah. So what was it like being in Bordeaux? How did you guys put that together? How did you get the band together?
Just kind of like one of those recycler ads, like a crude lead guitar player wanted sort of thing. Just happened to find somebody in my little town that was into the same exact thing that I was, and loved it. We took off, man. We just went nuts. We had fun. We put all our hearts and souls into it. Practicing 5 days a week, promoting 7 days a week. Playing 2-3 times a month.
Did you guys get a burst the record label or anything, or get close to that or anything? Like on the K&AC release, you remember K&AC?
Yeah. No, we were really on the verge, and then the band broke up due to inner turmoil, and then I started my next band, and I called it Crash, and that took off even better. We went on tour, tri-state touring. Mid southern, northwest, southern west, west side of the United States. And, that went on for quite a while because the band stayed together for a good 5-6 years and about 3 of those without a singer. We got management, we got ourselves in Music Connection. We went and did a demo that we had shopped. We did a worldwide search in Music Connection. We had dudes coming from all over the U.S., Sweden, Europe, and it eventually took its toll. But I wish I would have sang back then, because that was the one ingredient that was holding us back for a lot of years. And we were writing some of our best stuff, and we were really hammered out our technical skills. Right. Even though we weren't really metal, we were a really dynamic band. Very dynamic. How would you
classify yourself as back then?
Like Kicks, Motley Crue, Dick Tracy.
See, I hate the term hair band, okay? I hate that, and I mentioned that in interviews and talking to people. I absolutely hate the term because I think that was a term that was brought up as a slam on what it was, because it was never back in the age. You know this. I'm 43. We're in the same age range. I'm not going to give away your age, but we're kind of in there, And you remember that it was not called a hair band. It was called hard rock or hard rock heavy metal. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't Metallica or Iron Maiden or Slayer heavy metal, but Poison and Bon Jovi. I mean, we're pushing. You go to Trickster and Steelheart and stuff like that on the lighter end. But it was considered metal, or hard rock heavy metal. So the Sister was a hard rock heavy metal band. It wasn't called hair band. I always thought that was a slam. But I mean,
I think that's just a description of what it looked like.
I think
because if you walked up Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset Strip, man, everybody had hair. Hair was a lot bigger back then. It was kind of like a bunch of peacocks.
Yeah, but it was to me though. It was like somebody who never liked it or got as really a slam, like if you were going to call it grunge flannel rock. Because a lot of those guys were flannel, that'd be a slam. It just seemed like, because we didn't call it hair metal back in the day. We thought it was cool, we would have done that.
Yeah.
Glam metal was called glam metal sometimes because of the glam elements like the New York Dolls and Sweet and stuff like that. But
that's a description of the music itself.
Right? Yeah. But so really what you were doing was kind of like hard rock heavy metal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was very commercially written music. I was not a garage type band, but I do, in hindsight now, I really, really wish I would have took the reins and started singing back then, because I wrote the lyrics and the melodies of the songs, you know, getting ready for that singer that can come in and just, you know, take it from there. But I just didn't have the gumption to even. I didn't like the way my voice sounded on a microphone. You know, nobody does at first, but after a while, you just forget about it and just do what you do. And you know, I'm really fortunate to have experienced this part of my life, man, where I play guitar and like I always have. I'm a mean guitar player, but I've also got to express myself in a much, much huger way with melodies and lyric content to talk about what I want to talk about, you know?
Right, so let's go forward a little bit. What brings you to Vegas?
You know, Vegas, it had more work. You know,
you did Kill Jaden after you got out of here, right?
Yeah, no, I actually, you know, was out of music for quite a few years, about 8 to 10 years, you know.
Did grunge kind of hurt that too when it came in? Not to knock it, because there were a couple of really good bands in there, but it killed a lot of the hard rock and heavy metal bands and really made it almost impossible for
you know, you just didn't feel confident in anything you would write because you had a style that was developed over years, and all of a sudden, you know, it's passé.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't any good. It was just. Everybody's
time it was passé.
For you to fit in, you got to move with the times, really. And Kill Jaden, at this day and age, really has done that. But there was quite a few years that ultimately made me decide that, you know, go ahead and hang it up and just kind of live life and enjoy life. And
well, you know, that company because even Lita Ford did that at one point.
Right. Yeah, I saw a lot of people just disappear.
Yeah, because you know, one comment that was made on that, if you watch some of those Where Are They Now specials and stuff back in the 90s, like Lita Ford's like, I'm too young to have grandbabies. You know, I don't want to hang it up.
Yeah.
There was one guy in particular.
She's serious.
Oh, yeah, I know. There was one guy in particular, made a comment, I forget the name of the band, but it was on one of those things, Where Are They Now? And that kind of became, except for like Motley Crue tried to hang in with John Corabi. You had Motorhead that was just kept doing what they're doing, plugging away. Metallica just kind of changed with the times. But most of those guys, this was kind of the theme that was said by most of these guys in unison. When we saw It Smells Like Teen Spirit coming on TV, we knew it was done and over with. Right. I mean, at least that point. Thank God it came back a couple years later.
Yeah. You know, you had the Pearl Jam and Nirvana and and that was really kind of music that was just thrown together, and the singer, you know, after smoking a joint or shooting some heroin, you know, got off on some deep lyrics that didn't even really make any sense. But the way
what I call the anti-melody music. It was kind of anti-melodic in a sense.
Yeah. Well, you know, in a sense, it kind of helped me to this point because, you know, out went the 4-octave singer.
Right.
You didn't need the pretty boy who's got the tight-ass jeans and, you know, who looks good and sings really, really well. It got more heartfelt. You know, once the whole nostalgia of the grunge music kind of drifted away because, you know, mundane music can only last so long.
Right.
You know, without having some real substance. It turned into bands like Bush and whatnot that just didn't sing with the 4-octave range anymore. It was really just whatever was really heartfelt, but the songs had to be written well. You know, Metallica, James Hetfield, you know, people like that who didn't have those 4-octave range somehow came through it unscathed. You know, Lemmy. You know, they're like the cockroaches during the, you know, the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They made it through to the other side.
Yeah.
And because of that, you have bands like Bullet for My Valentine, the Ben Sevenfold, Atreyu and whatnot, Machine Head, you just didn't need that pretty boy 4-octave range anymore, and that's what set the motion into play for me to start singing. And I just, from my years' experience in the past, waiting for some singer to come along and be that fourth piece of the puzzle, I said, fuck that, I'm going to do it. And
so what was this, what time frame was this about? Approximately when was this you decided you were going to put a band back together and start being a musician again?
That would be 2005.
Okay. That was actually when I moved out here. I came out here the baby on the 2005.
I just moved back here from LA in 2001.
Okay.
I moved out here in '96. Then I moved back in 1999, and then I moved back to Vegas again in 2001. In 2004, I built a studio inside of my garage, basically for myself, my personal use of recording my own music.
Right.
And guitar player Ronnie Grego, which was a childhood friend of mine back from LA, lived out here, came over to watch football, and he saw my studio, and he said, dude, let's start a band. And I said, immediately said, nah, dude, you're way too heavy. He was really into more of the Iron Maidens and, really heavy metal stuff. And I was more into rock. But a couple of weeks later, after thinking it through, I called him up, and, we've been playing ever since.
So how do you get the name Kill Jaden?
Well, Kill Jaden, okay.
And you have a song about that, too.
Yeah. Well, Kill Jaden, Kill, K-I-L,
right,
is Irish, obviously, and that means love. And if you look up the word Jaden, it means God has heard.
Okay.
So it means to love because God has heard. It's basically just two words put together with meaning. And the song Kill Jaden itself is all about love is suicide, where two people that can't be together because of either family, Romeo and Juliet, exactly. Pressures of race or religion,
or family,
or
friends,
family backgrounds. Rich, poor, that sort of thing. It's based on that. Basically, the song is about a couple that cannot be together, and they make a pact to kill themselves to be together in the afterlife.
Okay.
But once they get there, they can't find each other.
Okay.
And now he's blind. He's searching for eternity to find her, and it's kind of like a very, very sad story.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. So you and the Segredo get together and decide to put a band together. So how does this evolve? How does this happen?
Well, it all started just by getting together and playing some covers. Picked out some Seether, some Bush, some Stone Temple Pilots, Audioslave, Godsmack, Metallica. Something you could throw together really quick and get it going. And we did that. We started playing out some few clubs and parties. And then
did you get together what you have for the band at that point now? Do you have your current lineup done when you first?
No. We had a drummer named John and a bass player named Darren. Darren was, heavy into drugs and alcohol, and actually so was John. So eventually those guys got replaced with the current drummer now, Paul Von Klock, who just moved here from California a week before he answered the ad, and he got sober 1 or 2 weeks before he answered the ad, and 5 years later, I've never seen him drink once.
Yeah.
So the new bass player, he is the final piece of the puzzle. We've had, counting him, 6 bass players.
Okay.
But this guy is the epitome of a bass player, man, because this guy bleeds bass strings. He's from Brazil, He moved to New Orleans on Bourbon Street, worked there for a couple of years doing salsa, jazz, Latin, rock, blues, country, you know. He knows how to play, and he was in a Pantera cover tune band out here, and when our last bass player wasn't really cutting it, I started thinking about him in particular, and he was the first person we called, and that guy was had 10 songs down the next week, and we played at Phil Good's 2 weeks after that.
Cool. So let's talk about you get the first album together, which when I met you, you were just, I think when I met you, we met just a little bit before that came out, or right around the time the first album came out, because I remember you gave it to me and I reviewed it.
Yeah, I'd seen you at Take One. I recognized you from MySpace, and I think you were with Adrian. And then I think I met you again at the Hellyeah house. We did
are you at the Hellyeah house or something?
Yeah, we did a couple parties there with them.
Yeah.
But that was that was in 2007, and that was our first CD. It was self-titled, and we went in the studio and put together I think it was a five-song CD.
Well, let's talk about that, because that song, did that kind of come out of the evolution of what you're doing with the cover tunes and stuff? Because it was a really, really good album, but it's different than where you're at now. It's more of, it could be classified as alternative, but heavier alternative. It could be classified as rock, but it wasn't what I would classify as the traditional metal albums, so to speak, which you guys can be classified as metal now.
Right.
So was that kind of coming out of working with Brian and like Caesar and some of that stuff?
A little bit. Yeah. And the bass player we had at the time, he was really, really into that.
Right.
When our drummer would play double bass drums, he kind of frowned on that. So we kind of, just to make everybody happy in the band, we kind of went with the flow. And we also co-wrote together. We wrote all our songs in the studio. We all collaborated on those songs.
Okay.
The next CD was basically me in my laboratory.
Let's talk about this one first, though. Sure. So there was a little bit different sounds that was coming out of what you were doing as far initially the cover material.
Yeah. And a little bit more to do with our capabilities.
Okay.
I wasn't as prolific on guitar as I became over the past couple of years,
right?
To growing and challenging myself, but also challenging the band more as well.
You got a lot of following out of that album, though. It was different.
Well,
a lot of people were doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
The sound was a lot different. The band was a lot different.
Well, a lot of the people our age, in 2005, were more classic rock oriented, I should say. 80s rock oriented. There was a lot of people that, we knew that grew up the same time we did, but we were playing what we were writing right then. Right. The prerequisite of Kill Jaden, let me just say, was the music had to be right here, right now.
Okay.
Because when you get a band together of 4 talented people that all been in 10 others at different bands over the years and have written 100 songs each, it's easy to say, hey, let's play this song of mine and this song of mine.
Right.
And we didn't want to just sit there and listen to everybody's tapes and CDs for a year and a half.
Right.
So it was all about, let's push ourselves, let's challenge ourselves, and let's see what we can sound like as a band. And I think that's where you get the unique sound, as opposed to following any trends or anything like that.
Right, now let's fast forward on this. What happens between then as the first album comes out and when you're putting this together? I mean, you guys just really blew up.
Well, a lot of promoting, a lot of meeting and greeting people, and that was just huge. We wanted to know every single person in Las Vegas that was into rock and roll and metal. We wanted to know them not just by name, but personally.
Right.
And so we were out there all the time. We were always out there promoting or supporting other bands that we became friends with, and even bands that we didn't quite know too well, you know, and we get shout outs from the stage,
Yeah, we always did a show somewhere.
Yeah. I was always out and just meeting and promoting, and, you know, that got us, we did a interview on comp radio for our CD release. You know, we in 2006 we came in third place in the Battle of the Bands. In 2007 we came in first place. We won the grand prize. 2 weeks later we opened up for Hellyeah. 3 weeks later we opened up for Godsmack at
What was it like opening up for Hellyeah and Godsmack?
Just a thrill of a lifetime, man. You know, I mean, to go from a guy who gave up music, sold every stick of instrument he had, to, you know, getting to rock out, you know, 5,000 people, you know, in packed shows, sold out shows, was just freaking mind blowing. But, you know, it's what you want to do, you know. It's what you thrive for. It's what you strive for, and we got those goals, man. We got there, so it was really great, and it just kind of made us synonymous in Vegas. You know, you walk into a club and people are staring at you. You know, it's because your face is always in Vegas Rocks magazine, and every month we were in Vegas Rocks. You know, and being interviewed and our photos, and you know, just a lot of talk, man. A lot of promoting, a lot of flyering, a lot of meeting people.
Now your face would be all over flyers everywhere you go. There's flyers and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go fast forward. Oh, don't worry about it. Okay, let me say this.
Not to mention,
let me say
Rock Over America too. You know.
Well, thank you. But let me say this. As far as that goes, I know you're going over laughing about that because the story's about Sally. We'll leave it there. I just believe the playground. I've said this to a lot of people. To me, music journalism is a sandbox. Okay?
Right.
And there's room for everybody. Rolling Stone, Billboard, Spin, Metal Hammer, Kerrang. We can name some old ones that they're still around, RIP, and all that. Las Vegas Weekly does something on it. My magazine, Rock Over America, there's room enough for everybody. It's just that we don't always get in the center of the playground spotlight. You know, to me, there's issues with certain people who should remain nameless that have problems with not being with that. I don't have a problem with that if you mention other things because there's all sorts of publications out there. Some of them I don't think have done well anymore. There's certain ones I won't mention my name on here. We can talk off record. I think their journalistic credibility for what they used to do, being a great rock magazine, have just gone down the toilet. Won't say it on record. I'll tell you off record, but you know. And other things have kind of grown up through the fold and just been really, really wonderful. But don't worry about saying that. You know, there's room enough for everybody out here. It's part of the story. You guys were in there a lot. You know, you guys got a lot of coverage. You got stuff at the comp. Every time I go out to a club, whether it be Cheyenne Saloon or Tailspin or whatever, you guys were there with the flyer, with something out there. You come out of the Cheyenne Saloon, there's your stuff under the windshield. You know, if somebody's got a flyer for something. So, you know, you guys are always inactive.
You know, it was about getting our name out there and getting to know everybody.
You have to do that, whatever source possible that you can use to promote. You have to do that.
Right.
So let's go forward a little bit. The new album came out, if I remember correctly, because this has been as long, you know, it's me with my surgery, long little bit here. I believe, if I remember last year, the new album came out last year.
July 11th.
Yeah. Now let's talk of 09. Now let's talk about this because something changed in music. 99, I saw something happen where there's a station called K-Rock. Okay, it was nationally syndicated. They had affiliates all over the place. We had one in Detroit, and they were alternative. You know, they'd play the STP, Velvet Revolver type of stuff. Well, the Velvet Revolver wasn't back then, but. You know, they played that Nirvana, Pearl Jam,
Soundgarden,
right, and all that, but the more alternative stuff.
Right.
They were playing like Louder Than Love, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, they had this all requested. I'm going to, God forbid, it's going to be. And I don't mind Nirvana and all that. They're a great band, but that's not what I want to listen to, and that's all I'm hearing on the radio.
Yeah.
Start playing Slayer, Metallica.
Nice.
Motley Crue, Wasp, Lizzie Borden. Okay, that's an anomaly. That just was a freak thing. It happened every weekend for 2 months.
Nice.
And then I was given tickets, and that time, that was in 98, 99, I was given tickets to Motley Crue, Scorpions, just somebody won them, didn't want them. Packed, the Scorpions opened for Crue at the time, packed on the lawn at the amphitheater, which used to be called Pine Knob up in Detroit, it's now called VT Energy Music Theater. Packed in the back, like imagine look over, the whole hill is packed. You can't move in there. There probably 30,000, 40,000 people just wall to wall like sardines, couldn't move. And that's where I started to notice metal from the 80s, I heard rock and metal from the 80s is coming back, but it's been a long, slow process. Fast forward to 2008, this is kind of relevant with you guys, because you guys have changed, sounds different. That's why I'm going to go with the new album. 3 bands in particular just blow out of the box. Fear of a Dead Man, Black Tide, and Burn Halo. So they're a little bit different, but the one thing that's the same is the guitar solos have come back. Fear of a Dead Man's kind of what they are, kind of, you know, like kind of poppy, a little bit alternative rock, kind of a little mix. Burn Halo is a little bit heavier for a new sound like you guys are used. It's where metal became, in certain senses, and hard rock became kind of progressive. Black Tide was just straight 80s, this thrash speed metal. And then you started seeing bands like 2 Cents and Midnight to 12 and Divide the Day and Sugar Red Drive and Red and a whole bunch of different bands have come out of the woodwork, Taking Dawn, which you remember 7 Sons. I mean, they had a whole different change in their musical style when they became Taking Dawn, but a lot of good, bad, otherwise you can call it what you want. Okay? Yeah, but they became Taking Dawn. They had a record contract on Red Rock. That story I'll tell you after we're done about that. But, you know, you started seeing the change in the music, and then metal started coming back. Everything from the 80s. Everybody's come out of the woodwork. Kil was just here Saturday. You played with, you guys did the show with Denim and Leather. You guys opened for Wasp. It's all
we've opened up for Wasp, Ratt, LA Guns, White Lion, Nothing Up, Bang Tango, Faster Pussycat. I mean,
and that's been in like the last couple of years. All that stuff's been coming back because the doorway broke open. And I think part of it may be people our age are running the record companies now.
There you go.
Position where they can do that. There you go. Because the old guard that brought in Nirvana and all that just immediately it was doing so well. It was like taking your puppy dog in the middle of the desert and pumping him. Or taking your child and just leaving them. Oh, I'll be back for you, honey. And the kids sitting in McDonald's at midnight and parents take off. You know, that's what they did metal. So it seems like certain people did that, and it's changed. So this impacts you because when I got the new album, I started seeing you guys playing, and then you give me the new album, and I'm going out and reviewing it. This is all different. It's still Kill Jaden, but these guys, it's a different direction. It's heavier. It's a bit more aggressive. It's more metal. It's definitely still rock and roll. It's still them, because you can still hear Kill Jaden in there. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you guys have gone forward and different. How did the idea for that come about from what you guys did at first?
Good question. Well, the first thing that happened was, you know, we mutually split with our bass player, which opened the doors for adding double bass drums now.
Right.
Because he was appalled by it.
Right.
So that was the first and foremost thing. And once that happened, listening to what my drummer's capabilities were, I said to Ronnie, I said, we got to tap into that.
Right.
You know, that's what's going on right now. You know, that music, that really metal, fast double bass. You know, it's progressive and it's relevant. You know, and so we tapped into that, and you know, doing double bass drums, you're not going to be playing just open chords all the time. So, you know, I started writing really progressive stuff. The big thing was instead of us collaborating in the studio as a band and putting these 3-4 minute songs together that had really simple arrangements, I started putting together these songs with these huge intros and then these big arrangements that would just, you know, take you on a roller coaster ride.
Right, you have these great transitions and chord changes, and it's very prolific.
the songs started to end up becoming, 5 minutes, 6 minute long.
Right.
And instead of conforming to, the 3 minute template, we said, screw that, let's write for us,
Yeah.
So the music got heavier. We started doing harmonies on our guitars.
Do you think the way music changed too kind of had an impact?
Yeah.
To say, we can do that now, let's go do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, bands like Trivium, Machine Head, Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, I saw the potential.
Doing something.
I saw the potential in that Kill Jaden had. And, we got great guitar players, we got a great drummer. Let's write some really progressive metal.
Right.
But this isn't stuff you could just write in 10 minutes. So, I went into the laboratory, into the studio, my pain cave, and I locked myself in there for months, and I came out with all these new songs. I had them recorded, with the harmonies, the third harmonies or the fifth harmonies, and the structure. I present them to the band, we start working them out. And then next thing you know, they were off and running. And then I had to write lyrics, which were a lot more complicated because the first album I was holding a lot of chords and it was easy to sing, strumming these chords. But now I'm playing riffs and singing all at the same time, which was very, very challenging. And that's what I was shooting for. I wanted a little bit of notoriety on what my capabilities were.
Right.
So the harder the better, baby. And like I said, all these other bands that were coming out, like Bullet for My Valentine, one of my all-time favorites now, I just saw that as just the most amazing thing. Because that guitar player, singer, he never puts the guitar down and holds the microphone.
Kind of like Airborne too, which is ACDC sounding. But I mean, the guy, it's like Angus Young singing.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't compare it at all.
I know that, but I'm just saying it's changed a little bit. You're playing and you're singing. That's not an easy feat.
No, and when we first started doing the covers, 5 years ago, it was really challenging. And we're talking about easy covers now. And the first album, it was writing our own music and playing. That was challenging. But to write really heavy stuff and to be able to sing over it and not make it sound like something's missing here or there.
Right.
So here's the 5 points that I would have to say: double bass drums, guitar harmonies on rhythms, dual solos instead of Ronnie just playing the solos like we did. We were like Metallica on the first album where he would just play a solo and I would just sing and play guitar. The fourth was harmony vocals. Because on the first album there was no harmonies, there was no backup vocals except for what I did on the recording.
Right.
On this album, there's 5-part harmonies, 4-part harmonies, and the fifth point is, a progressive music that isn't your contemporary 3-minute cookie cutter.
And since you've done this, I mean, you guys have just really blown up. It's really opened a lot of doors for you too, it seems like, with the new sound and the new music too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting requests, from Germany and Japan.
Really?
Well, for our music, I mean, they want to, magazines sending us stuff via the internet for interviews and whatnot, pictures and we're sending our music all over the world,
Yeah, it's a lot different than the 80s. It's amazing with social networks.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't imagine doing this at this time in my life via hand leaflets.
Yeah. What was the public's reaction when people came out to see and now they start hearing the new material? Were people like, did anybody go, what the fuck did you just do? You ruined it? Or
No. I think on the contrary,
Or everybody was like, we like it. This is good. We're waiting for this. Did you get people that we've been waiting for you guys to do something like that?
No, I think they appreciated what we did in the beginning. I don't necessarily think that. They were our biggest fans in the world.
What I mean by that is, do you think that people were saying like we've been waiting for this because we knew you guys had this and you to do this type of stuff?
I didn't know. I don't think anybody knew what our capabilities were. including us. I mean, had I known back then what I know now, things would have been way different, I think. But I don't know. I think what I hear the most, and it's just a one-line phrase, is you guys keep getting better and better every time I see you.
I would say that. So I agree with that.
That pretty much puts it in a nutshell.
So let's go here, and then I'm going to kind of do the last question, and then give you a couple minutes to say what you want to anybody. It's all yours from that point on. What's next for you guys? Is there a new album in the works? What's going on?
Yeah. We just laid drum tracks for our third CD 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We just did a show last weekend at So Good. So the previous weekend we did drum tracks, and
you have the reviews coming out for that show. It's phenomenal too. When I saw you guys play, it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Cool. Well, we had a lot of fun. It's a great place, great venue to play.
And that place is a fact, and I can witness and testify to the fact that everybody had a good time down there.
Yeah, it's definitely. The crowd was amazing. It's just a great place to play, and had a lot of great people there.
You got new drum tracks laid down.
Yeah, we got new drum tracks. We're at Hit Track Studios with Tom Parham. He called us up to get us in there. So I don't know. I think the second CD, which was titled Another Tragic Moment.
Right.
I did the engineering and I did the producing on it. This CD, it'll be a collaboration between Tom Parham and myself as far as the producing. He's doing all the engineering, of course, but I hope that we can make it as good, if not better, than Another Tragic Moment. I know it will be quality-wise because he's got, the multi-million-dollar recording studio and gear. So we're really looking forward to that. I think, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, but I think it should be out in, I would say, the end of August.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fast turnaround. Another Tragic Moment, we started in, it took a good 5 months of recording and mixing. But this one should just take a couple months.
Let me throw one more. It just came off the top of my head just before we do the final thing, and I'll let you promote everything. What have you learned recently as opposed to what you learned in the 80s, or you can answer it this way. What do you see different now musically as opposed to when you were doing this back in LA in the 80s? Or either something that's different now about you as you progressed and matured as a musician, artist, or it was one of the biggest lessons you've learned and that you kind of look back on now and you go, wow, if I'd known this then.
Yeah. Well, two things I would have to say. One is, when you're young and you're ambitious and you're rambunctious and you want something so bad, you tend to overlook the little things. You're chasing a rainbow.
Right.
And you're trying to get to that pot of gold on the other side, and you're not aware of all the things that are happening around you.
Like family and friends and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I remember a lot of holidays where I was on the road or in a rehearsal studio or recording studio and just, not there for my family and friends. And, I didn't even go to the lake or the river till I was, 28 years old. And I was like, wow, is this what people do? So that's one thing when I told myself when I came back to do music again, it's like, I'm going to have fun this time around.
Yeah.
And it's amazing on the success you can have without selling your soul.
Right.
Secondly, I really wish I would, like I said earlier, I wish I would have started singing, in those times where, singers were flakes.
Yeah.
And, they're always trying to screw your girlfriend or something like that, or on drugs or whatnot, or, they would make or break a band in a lot of cases. So I really wish I would have put myself out there sooner instead of later. But I'm glad. But I'm ultimately, like I said earlier, I'm glad I did. I started singing, and it's made a huge difference in my life.
Well, let's go ahead and plug it. MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, the whole nine yards. The band website, go.
Okay. Kill Jaden Band. Wait, MySpace.com/Kill Jaden Band. You can catch us on Kill Jaden Twitter. You can catch us on Kill Jaden Facebook.
It's just facebook.com //Kill Jaden Band.
Yeah.
Okay.
KillJadenBand.com. We have a website up.
Can they get all your merchandising and CDs and everything on there too?
Well, that site is under construction right now, and shortly it'll be up. But I mean, you can go on it and look at pictures and listen to music, but merchandise is still we're getting that set up. Okay. You can also pick up our music on iTunes, you know, Napster, okay, and all those other places wherever there's an outlet online.
Basically, Google Kill Jaden music.
That's right. Google Kill Jaden, and you'll see everything you need to see to find us. Okay. Yeah.
Let's do this right there. This is what I do at the end of it, and I want you to take 2, 3, 4, or 5 minutes if you want to say hi to somebody at school. You can, if you want to say tell somebody to fuck off, you can actually have one guy do that. Have one guy do that, and that's kind of my way to kind of lighten it back up, because some of the stuff gets a little bit serious and intention, and to kind of lighten up, but then you don't really have to do that. It's more of a joke than anything. One guy, he did do that. I'll tell you off record who that was. Talk about that. It's actually a funny story, but you want to say hi to the band, you want to say hi to friends, you want to say something to the fans, whatever you want to do. Take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. This is your time, and I'm going to let you have it. Go.
Oh, okay. I want to say hi to my family. I love you guys very, very much. And all my friends out in here in Las Vegas and all over the world, people I've met, either online or in person. You know, Ron Kill, Chris Frazier, Brett Muscat, Todd Kearns, Les Warner, just everybody that, you know, that I've met out here, Dario Loretta, you know, everybody in Comp Radio. I want to thank you guys all for being good supporters, big supporters. I want to give a shout out to Otherwise. You're going to be taking off on tour pretty soon. Those guys are badass. Adrian, you're the man. And just keep believing, man. Everybody out there, just keep believing and keep rocking, man. Hope you guys all pick up our CD off iTunes, throw it in your radio, throw it in your car stereo, and rock out with your cock out.
Okay, Brian, I want to say thank you very much for the interview.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Okay, interview over.